Hi everybody, I'm going to give my presentation on what is worth teaching. I love that question. I think that's something that I hadn't thought of. Would I teach be worth teaching? But I think it's important to understand what's worth teaching. And my additional questions are, how do I keep my moral standard when immoral subject matter or false principles are part of the curriculum? How do I approach a principal or other administrator if I do wonder if what I'm teaching is not worth teaching? And how should I respond to a student who wonders why they have to do a standardized test or ask the inevitable question, when will I ever use this in real life? Which I get to hear it where I work in resource a lot. The question I decided to focus in on was, how do I keep my moral standard when immoral subject matter or false principles are part of the curriculum? Alex Wilkinson gave me a great answer. I really enjoyed Maxine Green's essay that we read, and she also quoted her and said, in the reading of Green, it says, "I believe it important for teachers, no matter what their specialty, to be clear about how they ground their own values, their own conceptions of the good and of the possible." She goes on to say, "I think you need to have your values and morals and stand by them. When a situation comes along that may be against them and seem false, I would pray and ask God how to go about the situation and listen for an answer." And I think that's really great advice. And I won't read this whole long quote from Maxine Green, but I love that she recognized that teachers face these demands quite often. And she says here at the end, if teachers are not critically conscious, if they are not awake to their own values and commitments and to the conditions working upon them, if they are not personally engaged with their subject matter and the world around, I do not see how they can initiate the young into critical questioning or the moral life. And I think that's really a good point, that we need to know who we are and our standards if we're even going to be able to teach, even if it's just by example, our students what our morals are. One thing I wanted to touch on that I just loved from Soren Kierkegaard, if that's how you say his last name, is that I love how he talked about how we should love our neighbor and that is real truth, and that following a crowd is not truth. And I thought that was a really interesting concept, and I love how he said, "And to honor every man, absolutely every man, is the truth. And this is what it is to fear God and love one's neighbor. In case everyone were in truth to love his neighbor as himself, complete human equality would be attained. Everyone who loves his neighbor in truth expresses unconditionally human equality. Everyone who, like me, admits that his effort is weak and imperfect, yet is aware that the task is to love one's neighbor, is also aware of what human equality is. But never have I read in the Holy Scripture the commandment, 'Thou shalt love the crowd.'" I love that last line. That's so great. But I think it's really interesting that we do need to see others and to love them. And we need to do that for our students. And that's really what I learned this week. And that's my presentation. Thank you.